independent thinkers and choices. These are the two things that I think we take advantage of, we don't understand. An independent thinker has a set of principles that they live by. The principles is integrity, respect, morality, and self-awareness. So when I talk to people that are younger than me, even as far as the age of 6 or 7, I look at them like independent thinkers because if I talk to them, if I look at them as a child, the level of respect when they say something that I'm not necessarily agreeing with, that level of respect could change at any time. And this is what I teach. My daughter's only 12. I teach her to be an independent thinker. Explain what it is that you want me to know as an independent thinker. Do not regurgitate or repeat something somebody said to you. As an independent thinker, there's a value in a stable mind, or as Napoleon Hill refers to it, an accurate thinker. There's a certain value system. There's a purpose behind your conversation and your questioning, and direct communication. I teach her that more than anything because independent thinker are the ones that not only thinks outside the box, but are able to create the things that they wanted to create in their life. Because it's not, their thought process is not hinged on their environment, or it's not hinged on uh, desperation, anger, stress, for which I don't understand it. I made a video early on TikTok. I don't understand how do people would even accept the fact of talking to a God through stress, hopelessness, fear, and anxiety. Because if God granted you your requests or your supplications up under those same guidelines or attributes, you would only get maybe 75% of what really can be done. So an independent thinker is very important. Now, how does independent thinking come around? You have to look at the one most, listen, there's two things that are most important in this world. One, all humans have to do, that's breathe. Right after you breathe comes choice. When a person disallows you to make a choice, they're taking your freedom and your independence of being an independent thinker and a person with free will. And our choices are taken every day. The generation, my generation, the generation coming after, and the generation that came before me. And I often tell my clients, I say, listen, choice is neither right or wrong. It's just your choice. What makes choice right or wrong is when someone comes along and congratulates you on your choices, or comes along and make you feel a certain way about your choices. That's when the disagreement or the agreement come in. If we just understand choice, and I explain this to the younger generation, all you have is choice. So when you, as an independent thinker, make choices, no one is there to question it. I have a family member, I won't mention any names. They made a choice. They made a choice on how they wanted to interact with me for many, many years. Never once did I ever question why did they interact? Why was their language? Why did they interact? And what was their whole demeanor behind dealing with me like that? Never did ask. Now there's a need for my presence in their life for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not really concerned. Now I've made a choice. And now my choices are being questioned because their choices was neither right or wrong. It was just their choice to do what they wanted to do. They've put every thought, every energy, and it was very methodical because it would only would happen whenever we get around each other, not even over the telephone. So they knew exactly what they were doing. So now I've made a choice. And now my choices are being questioned. But see, as an independent thinker, you do not allow anybody to question your choices. Because what that is saying is they don't believe or trust that you can make the right decision, nor do they believe that the decisions that you make will be the right one, even if it's for your own life. You have to be an independent thinker. Napoleon Hill refers to it as accurate thought. And I'll do some lessons on Napoleon Hill, because between the Bible and the Law of Success, those two books, I walk my path every single day. I changed my name many years ago, many years ago, like over about 25 years ago. And people have constantly asked me why I've never answered, but I'm gonna answer today. So for those of you who watch this video, you'll understand. I don't follow in the footpaths of my father. I don't follow in the footpaths of my mother, my grandparents, which are all extremely beautiful people. We've had our ups and we've had our downs, but in my evolution of my being my authentic self, they're beautiful people and I love them all to death. And so now I move on. I don't follow in nobody's footpath, nobody's path. I changed my name because I personally felt that that was the first requirement for me to start my own path. And I'm gonna walk in my own footsteps. And I've been doing so. I uprooted my entire life. I got the message October 3rd, 2022. Uprooted my whole life. Everything was paid for. Had a bunch of clothes, bunch of shoes, house paid for, vehicles, and I walked away. I had to. I had to make my own path. And there are a lot of people, I don't even answer my telephone. There are a lot of people are extremely salty about that. And that's okay. Because I've made a choice. My choices aren't wrong. My choices are mine. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. And I made a huge, let me say, I made a big sacrifice. But with a big sacrifice comes big rewards. So now I'm a soldier on the battlefield. I'm fighting. I don't take a break. I don't take a break for absolutely nothing. You can't. When you see the enemy is lined up in front of you, ready to take you down at every step of the way, and not when I say enemies, I'm talking about certain groups that have low expectations of African American men, certain groups that are socially inept and don't understand that since we all bleed the same, we are all one fighting a common enemy. We're going against a common enemy. It's no reason to hate the next person in front of you because they're just a product of the conditioning and the brainwashings of the system that we live in. So we move forward. So my enemy is all out in front of me. I don't have time to do anything but breathe, stay focused, and continue my plan. And when mishaps come up, I send my love as I continue on in my path. Because with big sacrifice comes great rewards. So I'm just saying to you, from the age of 5 on up, you have the right to be an independent thinker and you have a right to make choices. That's what the Bible is about. I don't even understand how the story has been manipulated that Eve practiced free will. And that's the next thing, that's the next most important thing to breathing. God gave them the ability to have free will, to make the choices that you want to make. And it is paid off for every single person in the book. It's just not being taught that from Judeo-Christian religion. But as an independent thinker, you have the right. And as an independent thinker who makes choices, nobody is ever in question of your choices. Now, when you're younger and you have to guide, that's different. I have to question your choices and I have to give you suggestions, but ultimately I have to allow you to be an independent thinker and make your own. I'm just showing you because when you're young, you don't see the alternative. You'll go in one way, but there's an alternative. But that helps the child get older and says, I can think how I want to think and I can become who I want to become. I don't have to look for anybody's choices or anybody's agreements or disagreements to who I am becoming or who I will become one day, because that is the problem that should not be tolerated. Independent thinking and choices are two of the most important things. Once you breathe, you have to make a choice, and nobody has a right to question that choice. Just reiterate this last part. Nobody has a right to question your choices as an adult or as a teenager. When you make it, you make it. Just understand, as an independent thinker, you understand why you're making it. You understand the purpose behind making it, and you understand what kind of effects it's going to have for your future. But make your choice. and stand on it, and never let anybody take that from you. Get people conditioned to understand that when they deal with you, if they have to deal with you with low expectations or disrespect, then you're not the one to deal with. Because the Bible clearly says in Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron. So if you need guidance, you get with a person that you know is going to uplift you, inspire you, and not look at your progress or your choices or your independent thought patterns as wrong or be disagreeable. They're looking at it, they're looking at how can I assist them on improving on the direction that they're going. So with that, please subscribe to this channel. I send out motivational messages, inspirational messages. This is my whole focus, to start healing. I have learned how to heal. And I've learned how to heal through how I think, how I feel, how I act, and how I treat others. I do it from the perspective, I do it from a biblical perspective, and I do it from the perspective of the second greatest book ever written. And I'll challenge anybody on that. Most people don't even know about it. It's Napoleon Hill's The Law of Success. Please subscribe. Until then, until next time, peace.